the most important part is you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what they have to offer you, what they have to teach you, what they have to add to your life that you didn't have before. So when you say yes to a long list of things that can bring your life more fulfillment, more depth, more meaning, more value. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Soulful Intuitive. I want to wish all the mothers out there happy belated Mother's Day, and I hope that everybody had a great time with their mom and made some good memories. I also have been hanging out with my mom in the weekend, and we were just reminiscing about the past, and especially my grandpa, who's no longer with us, and we were talking about his character and how much we loved him and how much our parents shape us and we shape our kids, and we kind of seem to all fall back on the generational habits unless we do something about it in order to maybe change it, if that those habits are necessarily aren't suitable or to our best benefit. So we have talked about the power of saying no in our past episodes in terms of the need to set boundaries, and you cannot set boundaries unless you learn how to say no. And also you have to be good with expression of anger, because anger is a necessary emotion in order to create boundaries. And when we say anger, obviously we don't mean throwing pots and cursing and profanity. We just mean that sensation that makes you come up with no, I don't want to do this, no, period. And and sometimes just no, because no is a full sentence. But we were talking about, I was talking about me and what happened during the lockdowns, and because I'm an introvert, but because the nature of my job, because I'm a hairstylist, I also do a lot of socializing, which is very one-on-one with my clients, but also at times with the other stylists and their clients. We sometimes go back and forth talking about the same topic, and we laugh, but it's a very controlled environment. Obviously, all of my coworkers are handpicked, and we vibe, and we more or less are on the same page. So therefore, our clientele seem to also be on the same page. So so it's a safe environment. So I socialized, but when during the lockdown, I was really happy because I didn't have to work, number one, and number two, I didn't have to see people, because that is the introvert's dream, to just be at home all alone. And my partner had to go to work because his job was essential. So I was home alone, and I loved it, and it was really good. And after 2 months, I realized that I was having severe anxiety to get back out there. Something that I've been doing all my life, like for 20 years, I would say. And then I was having severe anxiety to go back and be with people. And that was not pandemic related, that was just socializing. And so when I went back to work, obviously, I pushed myself, and I realized how important it was, and it is for me, to have a job that I have, because it forces me out of my comfort zone, which for a lot of introverts is being alone or being home or just being on your own. And when you practice that art of being social, that's not innate for introverts, then you get good at it. However, when you stop practicing it, then that muscle atrophies, it shrinks, and then you can't do it as well. So I was talking about that with my mom, just talking about how when we were kids and Grandpa usually wanted to stay home, and he really liked it when we were all home with him, but for him to leave the house was a little difficult, or he preferred it if he didn't. And then so then it just sort of like a behavior that we all have, And I was talking to my mom. We were going back and forth that, yes, people are born in a form of introvert, extrovert. However, they also have their reasons to, let's say, be fearful or conservative or tolerant or patient or impatient because of what has happened to them in childhood. And they're all very true. And my mom reminded me that there should be no judgment when we think about anyone, especially loved ones, as, let's say, this one was this way or that person was that way. We shouldn't focus on their behavior or their personality traits only. We should just think about what have they gone through as children and young adults and what shaped them and what helped them shape this way. So obviously, when we are making statements about people, we tend to just do a snap judgment and just say, yeah, this person's like this and this person's like that, and we don't know where they come from, and we don't know why they are the way they are. So that was a very nice conversation, but it led me to think about how, as introverts, for example, we say no a lot in terms of, oh, do you want to come to the party? No. Do you want to participate in this sports? No. Do you want to join a book club? No. Do you want to go for a walk? No. Because a lot of us have our own little routines and quirks. And what I have learned from my partner, who is a yes man in a good way, not in a pushover way, but he says yes a lot, and he let universe surprise him. Because when you say yes, you also say yes to possibilities. You also say yes to opportunities. Because let's say if I always say no, which I do after work because I'm very tired and I've been talking all day and I feel like my socializing cup is completely full. And let's say if he's having a drink or a meeting with coworkers or whoever, and he would want me to join them, I almost always say no, because I want to go home and rest, and that's my excuse. However, I have to remind myself also that, I rely on the fact that my circle is very big. I know a lot of people, but as we get older, we have to remind ourselves that, people move. Unfortunately, some relationships fade away. Some people just disappear for a variety of reasons. And sometimes even we tend to not vibe with the same people that we did in the past. So our circles tend to get smaller and smaller. And we are, after all, social animals. And there's a tank that we need to focus on, which is that tank of interacting with others. And doing that, we also help our cognitive side of our brain to stay active, so we don't get antisocial. And I'm sure we all have elder grandparents, uncles, aunts who maybe for a variety of reasons don't have a lot of people around them. And when we see them from time to time, we can definitely see the decline in their sociability, in their behavior, in their tolerance for others, because like we covered, those are all the muscles that if we don't exercise, like any other muscle, will shrink and will atrophy. And of course, it's not obvious to people who live with themselves because they don't see that a gradual decline, but it is very obvious to others who see them every once in a blue moon, that see that, oh yeah, like, aunt is no longer maybe as patient, or they kind of appear to be grumpy, or they don't listen very well, or they're becoming a bit socially inept, which can happen to all of us if we aren't practicing in social programs, in social events, and by talking to people and by putting ourselves out there. We are exercising that muscle that needs to be active. So this is just about even our social behavior. But the most important part is you never know who you're going to meet. You never know what they have to offer you, what they have to teach you, what they have to add to your life that you didn't have before. So when you say yes to a long list of things that can bring your life more fulfillment, more depth, more meaning, more value, things that we all yearn for. And of course, sitting at home or alone on our couch or our chair or our bed isn't going to bring any of it. And of course, social media hasn't helped because people have gotten really good at observing others get together by liking on their videos and pictures and by making comments as if they were there. But guess what? You weren't there. You were home all alone or all by yourself, and you were just eavesdropping by looking at their pictures or videos or reading other people's comments, by kind of getting the theme of what happened and getting the gist of what you missed because you said no. And I would really like everyone to get good at saying no, to set boundaries, but also get good at saying yes, even when yes is uncomfortable. And that applies to all of us. And I know people who are very, very good at saying yes, and they almost never turn down an invite because they constantly are putting themselves in the situations where they're experiencing new things, like playing new sports, meeting new people, going to new places, eating different food, having different drinks, learning different skills, and hanging out with different kind of people, which brings you so much more culture, because when you're interacting with people, you're learning from them, you're learning from their religion, culture, their way of life, lifestyle, and that is knowledge that you know, how many books you have to read in order to get that, where you can just, by socializing with people, you can put yourself in those situations that those events can be classrooms, and they are classrooms. And for me as a hairstylist, I realized that I just got really good at understanding people of all walks of life, because I had different people sitting in my chair. So, you know, I had religious, I have atheists, I have young, I have old, I have people of all different ethnic backgrounds, different walks of life, and I'm always curious to learn about like what they think about current events, what they like, how do they live their life, what lessons they are teaching their kids, how do they bring up their kids, what schools they went to, how do they make friends, meeting their friends, because they send me their friends as well. So I think overall it has made me a lot more grounded and a lot more in touch with a large spectrum of societal sample. So I know that we live in, for example, I live in Canada, so Canada is very multicultural, so we have people from everywhere. And you know, with kids going to school here, know about so many cultures and so many backgrounds and so many different countries, because they have people from those countries and cultures in their classroom. So they grow up overall a lot more tolerant and a lot more socially educated and a lot more just aware about how things are and about this whole big world that we live in. So the message that I wanted to pass by the video today is what my mom and I were talking, which was just learning to say yes, even when yes is hard to say, and even when yes is uncomfortable. It's no different than knowing that going to maybe a new gym or to a new class, exercise class, or it's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard work, but you know that you'll get a lot out of it. So that just inertia inside of us that wants to just stay as is, we need to just push against it so we would get the ball rolling. And once the ball is rolling, then we're going to see the advantages, and I will just bring more flavor, more excitement, more angles, and more depth to our lives that we didn't have before. We don't have it by just sitting and doing the same old that we did every day and every night and every week and every month. So this is a new season of warmth, of life. Perfect time to say yes to new habits, to say yes to new invitations, to say yes to new activities, to say yes to new food, to say yes to new friends, to say yes even to new jobs, to new opportunities. And then you would be proud of yourself for doing the hard work by pushing it against that like feeling you have inside that, no, I want the same old. But the same old is going to bring you the same old results. And if you don't change things, nothing will actually change. So you can complain about the same old, but if you don't change, and if you don't say yes, then the same old will exactly stay the same. I think I was in high school, and one of our teachers said something very nice that stuck with me, and he said, like, this is your life path and you're going straight. And by taking one tiny step every day or every month or every week, you can completely, in a course of 10 years and 20 years, change the path that you're going. So if this path you're going straight, it's going to take you there. And if you haven't done anything to change the destination, you're going to stay on this path. But by adding one tiny thing, let's say learn a new language, all of a sudden you're going to be in a completely different path. But when you start that new habit or new step, maybe in the beginning you still think that I'm still on the same path, but actually if you zoom out and you look at it in a long term, like 10 years, you're going to see how widely away these two destinations are going to be. Thank you very much, and I hope that you're enjoying this beautiful sun wherever you are. Hopefully it is sunny where you're watching this video as well, and I will talk to you very soon. Have a good day. Bye.